Season 3 picks up right where the second season ended, following Song Gi-hun, Lee Young-jae, as he heads back into the game for a second time with the intention of ending it. At the end of Season 2, Gi-hun led a failed rebellion against the workers, soldiers, and managers who run the game under the frontman's, Lee Byung-hun, orders and on behalf of the VIPs. With their hope dashed, Gi-hun and his surviving allies head back into the game. Who lives, who dies, and how does Hwang wrap the Korean language drama up? Let's break down the brutal but hopeful ending of Squid Game. Per tradition, most of the characters in Squid Game do not make it out of the season alive. Heading into Season 3, surviving players include trans woman Hyun-ju, Park Sung-hoon, mother-son duo Geum-ja, Kang Ae-sim, and Yeong-sik, Yang Dong-gun, pregnant contestant Jun-hee, Jo Yu-ri, and her crypto YouTuber ex Myung-ji, Yim Si-won, Timon Min-soo, Lee David, Thanos' right-hand man Nam-gyu, Ro Jae-won, Shaman Sien-nyo, Chai Kuk-hee, and former Marine Dae-ho, Kang Han-nul. Round 4 is a bloodbath, as the players are randomly divided evenly into knives and keys categories. The knives must kill a key to stay alive, and the keys must stay alive to, well, stay alive. Nam-gyu convinces fellow knife Myung-ji to temporarily team. Myung-ji has promised Jun-hee a key that he will find and protect her. Meanwhile, Jun-hee is with fellow keys Geum-ja and Hyun-ju. They make a good team when Jun-hee goes into labor. Geum-ja delivers the baby, while Hyun-ju protects them and finds a safe exit. The baby is born, but before they can escape the game, Hyun-ju is killed by Myung-ji. He runs off to keep Nam-gyu from going after Jun-hee, leaving Jun-hee and Geum-ja devastated by Hyun-ju's death. Gi-hun, who has been sorted onto the knife team, has temporarily gone insane with vengeance. Devastated by the death of Young-bae and the other people he led into the rebellion, he places all of the blame on Dae-ho. Dae-ho, who talked a big game about being a former Marine, failed to bring back much-needed weapons to the rebellion because he was too scared to return to the fight. Gi-hun spends the round stalking Dae-ho and eventually kills him. "It's your fault," he tells Dae-ho, as he chokes the life from him. Shaman Sien-nyo also dies in this round, killed by Min-soo after she is betrayed by player 100, aka Im Jong-dae, Song Young-chang. Min-soo, who has taken one of Thanos' pills, hallucinates Sien-nyo as Nam-gyu, who has been torturing Min-soo the whole game. Geum-ja and Jun-hee make their way toward the exit as the clock ticks down. They are found by Yeong-sik, a knife who has yet to kill anyone. Geum-ja tries to convince her son to kill her, but he turns his gaze towards Jun-hee instead. To protect Jun-hee, Geum-ja uses her hairpiece to stab her own son. After the surviving players are back in the dorm, Geum-ja tells Gi-hun he must do everything he can to protect Jun-hee and her baby. That night, Geum-ja hangs herself, unable to live with the knowledge that she killed her son. Round 5 is a deadly game of jump rope in which players must make it across a narrow walkway without falling hundreds of feet below. Gi-hun has committed himself to protecting Jun-hee and the baby. He brings the baby across first, but when he prepares to go back for Jun-hee, she chooses to step over the edge to her death. She knows that, with her swollen ankle and the limited time left, it will be almost impossible for Gi-hun to help her without losing his life too. Following Jun-hee's death, the baby assumes her role as player 222. Heading into Season 3 was, will Hwang In-ho ever reveal his true identity to Gi-hun? In Season 2, In-ho went into the game as player 1, as a way to control the events and, let's be honest, torture Gi-hun a little bit. During Gi-hun's failed rebellion, In-ho switches back into frontman mode. He pretends player 1 is dead, and kills Gi-hun's friend, Young-bae. As the frontman, he taunts Gi-hun for his belief that he could end the game. In Season 3, In-ho finally reveals himself to Gi-hun as the frontman. At the end of Episode 4, 222, the front man has his soldiers bring Gi-hun to his office ahead of the final round. In-ho gives Gi-hun a knife and tells him that he should murder the other contestants in their sleep. If he does, Gi-hun and the baby can vote to end the game and split the money between themselves. When Gi-hun asks the front man, "Why are you suggesting this?" In-ho removes his mask, revealing his identity as player 1 to Gi-hun. Gi-hun is furious and considers killing In-ho with the knife. In-ho tells him it won't change anything, someone else will just take his place. In-ho claims that he is trying to help Gi-hun and the baby, but Gi-hun sees through him. He only wants more bloodshed. He wants to bring Gi-hun down to his level because, otherwise, In-ho has to question everything he has become. As is revealed in flashback, In-ho won his version of the game by doing exactly what he suggests Gi-hun does, kill the remaining contestants in their sleep. In In-ho's mind, it was the choice anyone would make. But Gi-hun's refusal to take the same path proves In-ho could have made a different choice. He still could. One of the major questions heading into Season 3 was, will Hwang In-ho ever reveal his true identity to Gi-hun? In Season 2, In-ho went into the game as player 1, as a way to control the events and, let's be honest, torture Gi-hun a little bit. During Gi-hun's failed rebellion, In-ho switches back into frontman mode. He pretends player 1 is dead, and kills Gi-hun's friend, Yoon-bae. As the frontman, he taunts Gi-hun for his belief that he could end the game. In Season 3, In-ho finally reveals himself to Gi-hun as the frontman. At the end of Episode 4, 222, the frontman has his soldiers bring Gi-hun to his office ahead of the final round. In-ho gives Gi-hun a knife and tells him that he should murder the other contestants in their sleep. If he does, Gi-hun and the baby can vote to end the game and split the money between themselves. When Gi-hun asks the frontman, "Why are you suggesting this?" In-ho removes his mask, revealing his identity as player 1 to Gi-hun. Gi-hun is furious and considers killing In-ho with the knife. In-ho tells him it won't change anything, someone else will just take his place. Final round in Squid Game Season 3 is brutally simple. The remaining players must navigate across 3 massive, tall stone towers. In order to progress to the next tower, they must kill one of the remaining players. At the end, any surviving players will split the money evenly. Heading into the round, Gi-hun and the baby are at a disadvantage. The remaining players, including player 100 and Myung-ji, are mostly thugs who care about making as much money as possible more than they do about their fellow contestants' lives. Ah Min-soo is an easy first target. They make a show of having a fair vote for Min-soo's elimination, and Myung-ji does the dirty work of pushing him over the edge to his death. In the next round, Gi-hun puts up much more of a fight. He has the baby to protect, and he has the knife given to him by In-ho. Without Gi-hun as an easy target, the thugs all turn on one another, with Myung-ji particularly brutal and effective. With only 4 players left, Myung-ji, Gi-hun, the baby, player 100, and a beaten-down player 39, Myung-ji chooses to push player 100 over the edge so he can ensure more money for himself. Player 39 chooses to roll over the edge himself, tired of playing the game. Gi-hun dies in the final round of the game. He makes it to the final tower with the baby and Myung-ji. Myung-ji tries to convince Gi-hun to hand over the baby, but Gi-hun refuses, believing Myung-ji plans on sacrificing his own child. They fight, and Myung-ji falls to his death. Unfortunately, either men push the button signifying the start of the round, so Myung-ji's death does not count as this tower's sacrifice. Gi-hun is left with a terrible choice: kill the baby and survive, or sacrifice himself so that the baby can live. Much to the VIP's astonishment, he chooses the latter. As they wait for him to kill a newborn, he instead stares them down with the baby in his arms. He cannot see them through their viewing room, but he knows they're there, watching with mild interest. Then, he turns away from them. What he says next isn't for them, it's for us. He kisses the baby and places her on the ground before looking into the camera. We are not horses. We are humans. Then, player 456, our audience surrogate in this deadly game, falls to his death. In sacrificing his life for the baby, Gi-hun is choosing humanity. He believes even the most vulnerable of humans has inherent worth and should be protected. He refuses to play by the VIP's rules, even when it means his own death. Gi-hun's decision shakes the frontman, who has spent seasons 2 and 3 trying to convince Gi-hun that humanity isn't worth trying to save. When he reveals his identity to Gi-hun in episode 4, he asks him, player 456, do you still have faith in people? With Gi-hun's final choice, In-ho gets his answer. Player 222, a newborn baby, wins the game. Those hoping for a big reunion between Jun-ho, Ha-jun, and his brother, In-ho, might be disappointed by the Squid Game ending. Soon after Gi-hun sacrifices himself, the Korean Coast Guard arrives on the island. They have been sent by Jun-ho, who learned the location of the island after rescuing an escaped player 246 from the Pink Soldiers in pursuit. Knowing that the Coast Guard has arrived, In-ho orders the evacuation of the island and initiates a 30-minute countdown for the facility's destruction. He has to destroy the evidence. The VIPs, of course, escape. No, you'll not only survive Squid Game, she plays a major role in the game's downfall. By saving player 246 so that he can return to his sick daughter, Na-yeon, No-yeol sets the events in motion that allow Jun-ho and the Coast Guard to find the island. After helping player 456 escape, No-yeol destroys the evidence that he was ever there. She is sitting in the frontman's office, prepared to kill herself, when she witnesses Gi-hun's sacrifice. She hears the baby cry, and she decides to live. In Season 1, Gi-hun is a deadbeat dad. It's one of the major reasons he goes into the game in the first place. After winning, Gi-hun plans to go see his daughter, Ga-yeong, but chooses to try to end the game instead. Following Gi-hun's death, In-ho travels to Los Angeles to see Gi-hun's daughter. When he knocks on the door of the house she lives in with her mom and stepdad, Ga-yeong is angry. She doesn't want to hear about her dad, who she understandably feels abandoned by. When In-ho tells her that her father is dead, she accepts the box of his belongings. Inside is Gi-hun's bloody player 456 uniform and a debit card with what is presumably his millions of dollars of winnings. Gi-hun has given his daughter the resourced future he always wanted to, but he isn't there to see it. In-ho didn't have to tell Ga-yeong about her father's death, or give her the money. He also didn't need to deliver it in person. The decision implies he might have been changed by Gi-hun's choice to hold on to his humanity. Could In-ho be poised to choose something different in the future? Squid Game doesn't have a happy ending because, as it exists now, capitalism doesn't have a happy ending. Still, Hwang leaves us with hope. The final episode of Squid Game is titled Humans Are They Are Gi-hun's final words. With them, Hwang is both leaving the statement open-ended for viewers to answer for themselves, as well as giving his own answer with Squid Game itself. Humans are susceptible to corruption, to greed, to vengeance. But we are prone towards caring for one another too, to making sacrifices to protect others, to hoping for something better. Gi-hun doesn't always make the moral choice. We see him murder player 388, Kang Ha-nul, out of shame and vengeance in episode 2, Starry Night, but he tries to be better, even after he has taken a human life. In a system designed to pit him against others, Gi-hun ultimately sides with humanity. It might not be a happy ending, but it's a hopeful one.